much. We only listen. So that could help him. You could try that with him.
So what do you want me to do?
So you call him on WhatsApp and keep the phone
Okay.
on
Oh,
and keep
okay,
it
okay.
speaker. Yeah, so then he can listen to everything we are doing.
Avatar
Okay.
Meher Baba ki jai. So let's get
Yeah.
started. It's 7:30 in the morning. So, Ashok ji,
Yeah,
would you like to start reading the seven realities, please? Jai Baba.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. 2. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. 3. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things body, mind, position, welfare, even life itself are sacrificed. 4. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. 5. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. 6. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Given by Meher Baba in 1952, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thank you, Karthik. Over to you.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you very much, and welcome back to all of you as we do session number 27. So we've done 26 readings till now. We are in the period 1949. Baba has started the new life. Oh, I forgot to get the new life song. Let me try to get that as a way to read and appreciate before we get to reading this morning, as requested by, I think, Sanjay ji. Yeah, here it is. This was referred to in the reading last time. So we actually saw pieces of this translated. So here it is. So anybody wants to read it in Hindi first, and then we get to any volunteers for Hindi?
Yeah, I can do that, or if there's
Okay.
any.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. One second. There's a
I'm
title.
just not very fast in Hindi. I can do it,
No,
but I won't be.
can
Yeah.
you put the title of this?
Yeah.
मेहर बाबा और उनके साथियों की नई जिंदगी का ठिकाना, right? So this is about his new life. but this is a song or a bhajan?
It's a bhajan. I'm sure you have heard it.
Yeah, I have heard it.
And if you remember, Sanjay ji even hummed a few lines.
Let me try.
So if you
Let me
have
try.
Sanjay on the line, he should sing this. I
What?
can.
What?
You want me to read
Yeah.
this or
No, just read it. Just read it.
I'll
No,
just read?
we just get a feel of it, and maybe
Right.
towards the end we'll request him to sing it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. जय बाबा सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश बानी इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी है जीना तुम्हें गर नहीं जिंदगानी करो तर्क दिल से ये दुनियाए फानी खुदा के भरोसे पर हम जा रहे थे नहीं सॉरी जा रहे
चाहे हैं।
हैं कसम से इरादों को गरमा रहे हैं गजल न मुरादी की हम गा रहे हैं बला और मुसीबतों को बुला रहे हैं उम्मीदों को उम्मीदों का रोना ना वादों का शिकवा ना इज्जत से मतलब ना जिल्लत की परवाह ना गीबत किसी की न खतरा किसी का यही रंग है अपनी ये जिंदगी का ख्यालों में उलझन है बाकी न बंधन है नफकत न गुस्सा न कुछ काम कंचन है मजहब से रिश्ता न कुछ फिक्र फिक्रे तनमन सवार एक किश्ती में शेखों बीर है मन न अपने कोई छोटा बड़ा है मुरीद और मुर्शिद न मौलों का रहा है उखवत का बहम जो रिश्ता जुड़ा है हमें दर्दों गमे मजा आ रहा है न दुनिया न उखवा न दोजक न जन्नत न सिद्धि न शक्ति न कशफो करामत ये सब नक्शे बातिल हुए दिल से रुखसत जो कुछ है वो है हल्की कतरों कीमत
पालकी।
सॉरी
वो है हाल की कदरों कीमत।
ये जो है हाल की कतरों कीमत ये अल्फाज बाबा के सुन दिल से प्यारे शुमार अब मेरा है बराबर तुम्हारे मगर हुक्म अच्छे बुरे दू के न्यारे बजा लाओ फौरन खुदा के सहारे अगर आसमाने मुसीबतों की टूटे सदाकत का हाथों से दामन न छूटे चमन यासो हिरमाने लूटे तवक्कल से इनमें लगा बेल चले दिल पे छुरियां मगर लब को खंदा ये एक रमज है जिसको करता हूँ उड़िया तेरी तंग दस्ती में दौलत है पिन्हा गराई पे तेरे करे रश्क शाहा हम बेशक खुदा और बरहक
है
नबी
बेशक, है
हम
बेशक खुदा।
बेशक खुदा और बरहक नबी हैं वो हर दौर अवतार हरदम दिल वली हैं हमें तो फक्त बेकसी है कहूँ क्या तुम्हें कोई नई जिंदगी है if you can come to the first line I can try just first line सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश वाणी इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी जय बाबा
Thank you, thank you. I think, but of course, Sanjay ji would have read this better and, of course, sing this better. We'll see if he can
Yeah,
Sing this later.
you would have read this better. It was just I mean,
No, no, no. I mean, with due respect to you as well, Ashok. Thank you for reading. Maybe we just read this in English as well. Song of the New Life, Meher Baba, of Meher Baba and his companions.
you
Listen
want
to the
to?
silent words. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you please carry on. Sorry, sorry.
No, no, go ahead, please.
You started. Carry on, carry on.
Yeah, okay. So it's in stanzas. So stanza one, listen to the silent words of Meher Baba. The life story of all lovers of God is based on the practice of these words. If you're serious about living this new life, then wholeheartedly renounce this ephemeral existence. I mean, let's focus on the meaning because it will help us understand the phase that we are going to read about. Stanza 2. We have taken to this life in which we rely only on God. In this, our will to do or die is strengthened by the oath taken. We are merrily singing the song of hopelessness. We are inviting all calamities and difficulties. Stanza 3. We neither wail over lost hopes nor complain about broken promises. We neither covet honor nor shun disgrace. Backbiting we know not, nor do we fear anyone. This is how the color of our new life. 4. No confusion in the mind now, nor any ties left. Pride, anger, lust, and greed we know not. We have no religion nor care for physical and mental fads. The Sheikh and the Brahmin, typifying all castes and creeds, are now sailing in the same boat. 5. There is no small or great now for us all. The questions of disciple, master, or godhood no longer arise. Brotherliness or fellow feeling is the link that exists, and this contributes to our present enjoyment of suffering. All this is pretty deep. So it brings out all the things that Baba is enforcing. So he's saying that everybody's equal, but at the same time, there's a lot of suffering. But at the same time, there's enjoyment of suffering. It's beautiful. 6. This world or the next, hell or heaven, we no longer bother about Shaktis and Siddhis, occultism and miracles. We no longer think of all these fake impressions, thoughts. For us, we have been purged. No, for us have been purged from the mind. I repeat, all these false impressions, thoughts, for us have been purged from the mind. What has value and importance for us now is to live in the active present. 7. Dear ones, take seriously the words of Baba when he says, although now I am on the same level with you all, yet all orders from me, good, bad, extraordinary, you should all carry out immediately, leaving the result to God. Even if the heavens fall, do not let go the hand of truth. Let despair and disappointment ravage and destroy the garden of your life. You beautify it once again by the seedlings of contentment and self sufficiency. 9. Even if your heart is cut to bits, let there be a smile on your lips. Here, I divulge to you a point worth noting. Hidden in your penniless hands is treasure untold. Your beggarly life will be the envy of kings, the world. 10. God exists indeed, and true are the prophets. Every cycle has an avatar, and every moment has a wali. For us, however, it is only hopelessness and helplessness. How else should I tell you what our new life is? Beautiful. So I think with the context being set on what Baba wants the new life to represent, let's get to the actual reading. So we are at page 134. Yes. And we stopped here. Anybody wants to start, or can I read for a bit and then we rotate? Any volunteers?
Karthik, I'll start. And I also want to say, just highlight that what we read about the seven realities, the real obedience. So the new
Hmm?
life was a phase of where you had complete surrender or real surrender and real obedience. So whatever Baba says or Baba had, given the parameters and the way to go in the new life. It was tough, it was harsh, but then these people volunteered to be that.
Jai
It's really
Baba, sorry for my ignorance. Who wrote this song?
I think it's Ghani and changes done by
Gani,
Baba.
Gani, Gani wrote
Yeah,
this song.
yeah. Abdul Ghani from the Mandi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jai Baba, it says here on the 24th of October 1949, Baba asked Ghani to write a poem about the new life. Baba dictated the first couplet and indicated to him to incorporate into the poem the chief principles of the new life, such as obedience, suppression of anger, greed and lust, truthfulness and cheerfulness under all circumstances, etc. In fact, Ghani had gotten the inspiration to write a song on the new life from listening to Baba play the dolak. Baba explained to him, the poem will be sung as a prayer each morning before starting the day's activities. By late October, Dr. Ghani had composed a new life song in Hindi, and after some corrections by Baba asked him to translate it into English. Baba then had 1,000 copies of the song printed for distribution, with Hindi on one side and English on the other. Jai Baba.
Thank you so much for
Thank
that reference. And if you see the screen, you have Ghani in the photograph and then the confirmation, Dr. Ghani, who composed the song of the new life. Thanks for that reference, Kama. Yeah, Namita, you were saying something.
No, I just was right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Ashok ji, you wanted to read. So, please read from Leela Sustains Reality. Leela is illusion, illusion is sustaining reality.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Leela sustains reality. In October 1949, after delivering the message to Mauni, I felt relieved and enlivened. In that happy mood, I decided to pass a few more days visiting the different areas sanctified by the presence of saints and monks contacted by Baba. I especially visited Swarga Ashram, where in the summer of 1942, Baba had stayed with a group of Westerners in the bungalow of the Rani of Singhai. In the course of my stay, I happened to meet a renowned Swami who was a founder of an international society dedicated to spiritual ideals, including yoga. I stayed in this ashram attending different. It is raised the. I can read only up to. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll read it again. I stayed in this ashram attending different program for 2 or 3 days. This short stay provided me with an opportunity in 1953 to revisit Rishikesh with Baba. About my personal meeting with Swami on a moonlit. Karthik will raise again.
Yeah.
Night, sitting on a parapet in his ashram that stands by the bank of the Ganges, I intend to narrate later. On my return to Kurduwadi, I met the headmaster again, who seemed unwilling to take me on the staff. I wrote a short letter to him with a request to let me know his final decision. I could sense that he was somewhat prejudiced about my connection with Meher Baba. To be frank, I regarded my contact with Meher Baba as the most sacred and personal affair. At the same time, I was very particular that my relationship with Baba did not have any adverse effect on my work at school. It was true that I did not mix with or join my colleagues in visiting shows or going out for picnics, but the fact was that I had no liking for them. And perhaps in the eyes of the headmaster, this conduct was objectionable. I did not personally approach the office bearers of the institution or the headmaster with the request to reconsider my case. But a day or two later, to my surprise, the school peon brought the news of my reappointment. I was asked to resume my duties the same day. What made the management change its mind so quickly, I do not know. All I know is that Baba knows best the when and how of every incident connected with the lives of those who come in the orbit of his love. H's capital. My break in the service was also later condoned. It appears to me now that the headmaster's initial response to my request for reappointment was negative only so that I would feel inspired to fulfill Baba's orders first, and actually there was never any doubt about my eventual reappointment. This this detailed personal account may or may not be regarded as a digression, but as these incidents are directly connected with Baba's orders and the wonderful way in which they automatically got worked out, I succumbed to the temptation to include them. Before entering upon the new life, Baba had given different types of orders to different people closely connected with him. The above narration may give an idea of the way Baba helped all in carrying out his instructions. The, the orders of the God man and the subsequent happenings are not two separate parts. It is one inseparable phenomenon. Such events, though they come to pass in a most natural way, deepen one's faith in the companionship and the compassion of the God man, the Leela that sustains reality. And thus, simple things imply profound potentialities. I take a break here and I would like to read the last line again if it's okay with you all.
Sure.
Such events, though they come to pass in a most natural way, deepens one's faith in the companionship and the compassion of the God man, the Leela that sustains reality, and the simple things imply profound potentialities. Karthik, I'll request you to underline this or highlight this last line if, if you all think it's, I think it's quite, you
So,
know,
can you explain this line to me? Why is it sustaining reality? And what is the Leela that's being referred to here?
the Leela is the world of duality.
Okay.
I mean,
How is it sustaining reality? And what is these? So, what he's referring to is a minor miracle or this this idea of him getting his job back and so on and so forth. So how is that? I mean, this is a very important statement, right? Leela, I mean, illusion sustaining reality. We went over this at depth a couple of months back when we started God Speaks. So so let's try to understand that and understand it in that context. So would you like to take a stab at it?
I'll just spell what my immediate thoughts, and that is that Baba has said that do not shirk your responsibilities or do not shirk your worldly responsibilities, which are of course in the world of duality. So uh, his job or his getting his job and doing that were all part of the Leela. I mean, his reappointment or sustenance, because in the new life, basically, you had to renounce everything. But yet, Baba helped him in getting his reappointment back so that he could meet his worldly responsibilities. So the Leela is about the worldly responsibilities. It's a separate, let's say, Leela and reality are two separate
Aspects.
aspects, world,
Entities,
or like
entities. Yeah.
two different circles which do not intersect. They are
Yeah.
absolutely different. They're two different
Leela,
worlds.
Leela. Sorry.
Jay Baba, I think that first of all, as Karthik said, the God speaks dedication to the universe, the illusion that sustains reality. So Leela is, this can be interpreted in many different ways. First of all, Maya, which is the creator of illusion, because Maya is not illusion. Most people understand Maya as illusion, but Maya is not illusion, is the creator of illusion. It is the principle of ignorance. It creates duality. So wherever there is the reality, there is the shadow. So the important point here is for creation to sustain itself, you need to have duality. For us to go through this whole process of evolution, reincarnation, involution, realization, you need to go through the duality of opposites of experience, because without darkness, you don't appreciate light. Without going through suffering, you don't appreciate what happiness or bliss is. So the whole thing is this whole universe is fine tuned. We all know that. So so this Leela is basically only in the waking state, as we all know. So that is one way of looking at the interpretation, because it says the simple things imply profound potentialities. And Baba said is in discourses, you can give billions of dollars for charity, but even a simple smile to a person can have a tremendous effect on an individual human being. Hey, Baba.
Okay, I agree with all that he said in this intervention. Still, that does not underline or explain or convince me that reality, the bigger reality, which is freestanding, which is God, which is in its true nature, needs illusion to sustain itself. So that I'm still struggling with. I understand the darkness
No, this
analogy,
is how you
beautiful,
can take.
beautiful
See,
analogy. No, 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 a beautiful analogy on the darkness to appreciate light. But the profundity of the meaning of reality being sustained by Leela is still something I'm struggling with. But that's me,
see, this
Ravi.
is how.
Because,
Yeah, this
because
is how you have to take it, Karthik. See, what is the reality? Is only with respect to us, we think something is real, right? Let's
Hmm.
say if the illusion does not exist, this Maya does not exist at all, then God lives alone. Actually, God lives alone by himself. Then he doesn't go on saying, hey, I'm real, I'm real. Who is going to say to, I'm real, I'm real? There's nobody. He himself is there. So, because we exist in this illusion, because we exist in this ignorance, with respect to us, that reality makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. You see what I mean?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
See, the ignorance
Maya,
is also a
as
veil,
Kama said,
as such.
Maya is the one which is like a shadow. Shadow is, Baba said, Mehra represented the Maya. The Maya has got equal position as God himself. Baba gave so much importance to Mehra, and she represented the Maya. Maya. So when Maya is there only, then only we talk about the truth. Truth that sustains the reality. Yeah, Jai Baba.
See, yeah, Baba, the Leela can also be looked as the divine sport. Remember, these are
Correct.
terminologies like if you are looking from the head, heart, or hands, you have the divine romance, Bhakti Yoga, you have the divine sport, Karma Yoga, or the greatest detective story ever told, Jnana Yoga. So, Leela as such is the divine romance. And if you use the essay, the lover and the beloved, it clearly gives you as to what is happening with this whole drama, this cosmos, that God is love and love must love, and to love there must be a lover and beloved. And God being one eternal, infinite existence, who can he love but himself? So he has to imagine himself as the beloved whom he as the lover loves, and this whole journey starts. So we are actually part of that holographic image. We are the drop souls from the ocean called Paramatma. So this is a divine sport. That is the whole game from going from unconscious divinity to conscious divinity. So the duality is just a framework for this game to be played, Hey Baba.
So God wanted to, someone has to recognize him or someone has to love him. That's why that God created the Maya. That's what it is. That's what you're saying.
Uh,
So
Not exactly. What Kama is saying, Ashish, is Maya is almost a counterpart, is almost a an, an aspect of equal and equal capability that emerges along with God, and
yeah, but God
this
created it,
brings
right?
out.
God created the Maya. If I'm not wrong.
So again, Maya is
Mm.
the principle of ignorance. It's not illusion. Maya creates and sustains illusion. Maya, again, is not illusion, just to clarify.
Yes. Jai Baba,
Yeah, yeah.
in that, we know one of the most important chapters in discourses is Maya, God and Maya. I think you should go back and read that because there it's explained very, very succinctly. Where you
Much.
are, there is your shadow. Where you have
Yes,
the concept of God, there will be Maya. And third thing Baba has said, complete surrenderance, Maya can only be understood after God realization. So Maya is 50%. That is part of the game. So we have to be very careful in understanding what is Maya in terms of its, the conceptual understanding of how it plays itself in this whole cosmic drama. Hey, Baba.
Yeah, that's correct. 50% is God. This is God and Maya. They're together. That's what we can say, right? It's God and Maya. They are together, and it's not like
Maya is the shadow of reality. That is another way of looking at
yes,
Maya.
yeah.
Where you are is your shadow because there is no
Mm.
shadow without you. Without the
Yeah,
subject, there is no object. Similarly, there is no shadow or there is no Maya without the reality of God. Hey, Baba.
yeah, yeah. It's a good explanation. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah. And please listen to uh, part four of the four parts on Maya. It's just mind-blowing stuff. It's amazing, right? So you will understand all the things that Kama is saying in this commentary for the past few minutes. It's just amazing. You'll love it.
Yeah. And he explained very well.
When you say shadow, what is shadow? When you say is I mean everything is explained in great detail.
And he explained very nicely.
Right.
I had this question
Yeah.
from very long time. Why God created a Maya? Means God was that was the basic question from very beginning. So it was answered
Okay.
very in a better way, very clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karthik, I think, of course, whatever we are discussing is good, but I think the discussion started the meaning of Leela, which
Yes.
is, I think, slightly different. The right word, which Kama said, was the divine sport,
Divine sport.
where God got uh, direct intervention in seeing things, where like Leela is also used in for Krishna, he's called Leela Dhar. So you have these so many stories that come up where Krishna himself was, involved in his childhood. So that is the Leela. And of course, everything within it is all within the duality that we are talking of and the illusion that is there. But Leela is something through which God intervenes into things directly, I think. In the last 1 year or maybe more, 2 years maybe, there was one good article on in Glow on Leela. I'll try to dig it out. If I'm successful, I'll post it. So
Thank you so
Leela has to
much.
be understood differently than just general duality
Illusion.
principles that we are talking. Yeah. Yeah, Baba.
That's thank you so much for that distinction. That's a good point. So Leela, divine sport, as distinguished from illusion, right? So and Leela in the
It's
context of
a part of that. It's
it's
distinguished
part of
means
that. I
not
understand.
away, but it is within
I
that
understand.
duality. There is another element of Leela, so that
Yeah.
we just need. I'll try to dig out that article. Yeah, Baba.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's continue. I know this is almost dive, but it's not really a digression because we are also talking about God speaks, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. So, Ashok, maybe another few minutes so you can continue. Then we can rotate.
Okay, let me know when to rotate or when to
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Had not Baba been in the new life, I would surely have met him to recount my meeting with Mauni. The coincidence of my visit to Pune when Baba was at the station revealed to me a glimpse of his omniscience. For thus he indirectly heard, without my telling him, the thoughts I fervently wish to convey to him. With all its simplicity, the life of the God man can be so mystical. His formless presence and the informed personality are creatively multidimensional, wherein simplicity and surprise are superbly mingled.
Incidentally, I love this line. It's a beautiful way to describe Baba. His formless presence and the informed personality are creatively multidimensional, wherein simplicity and surprise are superbly mingled. Very beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Um, I just looked at the watch, and maybe we can actually rotate the reading. Anybody wants to take over from this point? Thank you so much, Ashok ji.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll read for a bit.
I can read it.
In
Okay.
in Nati Imli at Benares. Resuming the account of Baba's journey by train from Pune, the Baba party reached Benares on November 15, 1949. Baba Das was at the station to receive Baba. He and Sadashiv Patel had been sent earlier from Belgaum to find and rent a residence at Benares which fulfilled certain conditions laid down by Baba. Both of them had become very much disappointed in their search and were on the point of sending a telegram to Baba conveying their inability to secure a place fulfilling the requirements. At the 11th hour, Dr. Nath agreed to the unusual terms for lodging and boarding the Baba party. Thus, Dr. Siddheshwar Nath became the chief host of the Baba party. He was a well known physician and ophthalmologist. In addition to working as the honorary surgeon in the civil hospital, he had his own clinic on Kabir Road. He was an absolute gentleman who had spiritual leanings and held saintly personalities in high regard. He had neither met Baba nor heard of him before. Baba Das and Patel did not reveal Baba's name, but only talked to him about a party on the way to Haridwar. How Baba Das and Patel, who could not speak English or Hindi well, succeeded in convincing a highly educated person like Dr. Nath to be their host is still inconceivable. Dr. B.S. Khare was an assistant to Dr. Nath. He was also working as a professor at Banaras Hindu University. Dr. Nath, with the help of Dr. Khare, agreed to entertain this incredible party of 16 men and 4 women who were total strangers to them. The demands and the terms of the Baba party aroused such deep interest in Dr. Nath that he went to the railway station in his car with his wife. When Baba got down on the platform, he cursorily looked around and then, pointing at a couple standing on the overhead bridge at a considerable distance away, asked Erich to inquire about them. Erich and the other companions arriving by the train neither knew nor cared where they were to stay at Banaras or who was to be their host. The couple told Erich that they were waiting for a party en route to Haridwar, which intended to stay for a few weeks at Banaras. It was clear Dr. Nath was the host. As Erich conveyed this information to Baba, he was displeased with Baba Das for asking the host to visit the station. He also sent Erich back to meet Dr. Nath and inform him that as his visit to the station was a breach of the terms, the head of the party, Baba, wished to proceed to some other place, cancelling the halt at Benares. To this message, Dr. Nath politely replied that on learning that there were 4 women in the party, he had wished to give them a lift in his car to the place where they would be staying, since it was rather far from the station. This explanation and Dr. Nath's attitude pleased Baba, and he accepted his offer on condition that Dr. Nath accept only 1 rupee for the lift and the rest of the expense be accepted by Dr. Nath as his gift, Bhiksha, to the party. I'll take a pause here. 3 of us on this call today, I know for sure, have been to the house of Dr. Nath. 2 of us spent a lovely evening and had a meal at that house with a great story from Dr. Nath's family. So I can't help but be reminded of the beautiful time that we had at this place, right? The people
Yes,
are Sanjay ji and Mama ji. Sanjay ji
yes, yes.
visited, I think, a year later. Mama ji and I were together at Nath's place on this Baba
Yes,
trip.
it was a great experience.
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
we should be thankful to Baba and Nath family. They have preserved the home the way it was.
yes,
It's the
yes,
same gate there, not changed. Where you see the picture on the
correct.
background when Baba is coming out of that house with a tin container.
For
So
Bhiksha, yes.
that I mean that's in a very busy area, and I think the property prices typically what we in the cities we see, it must be very high, and there must be a very big incentive to build a high-rise tower there probably.
Or
But
whatever, yes, yes.
really, we salutes to the devotion of the family and Baba's blessings to them. Jai Baba.
Okay, Baba.
That's correct.
Thank you. So let's continue. Thus, Baba's arrival at Benares marked the beginning of the phase of Bhiksha, begging. Dr. Nath was all the while standing at a distance, wondering about the messages conveyed from the head of the party, but according to the terms, he dared not ask the name or the whereabouts of the party. The women companions left the station in Dr. Nath's car, driven by the driver, and the men companions left on foot with their luggage carried on hand carts. The residence was near Niti Bagh Garden, placed near the Bharat Milap section in the cantonment area. The building was inside a big compound with an unkempt garden. It was in a secluded place but had water and electricity. The women stayed on the first floor. Two statues, standing as sentinels on each side of the staircase, a remnant of former grandeur, greeted the visitors. Inside the main room, there was a lot of furniture, mostly chairs. Baba, however, asked the women not to use any chairs. The next day, all the furniture was neatly placed outside the room. The costly carpets were also removed. No comforts. In the adjacent building, Baba allotted a place for each companion. Donkin was accommodated in a side room. The disciples had to carry and arrange all the things by themselves. For some, the work was very tiring, especially after the tedious night journey. Nevertheless, a sumptuous breakfast arranged by the host refreshed them all. According to the conditions previously conveyed through Baba Das and Patel, Baba sent Irach to give 600 rupees to Dr. Nath and to Dr. Khare towards the party's expenses of lodging and boarding for 3 weeks. They sensed that this was not an ordinary party and so hesitated to accept the money, but they did not want to risk violating one of the conditions again, and so they accepted it. The quality of the food was left to the choice of the host, though soon many a message was sent concerning the flavor and savor of the meals sent. It was really commendable and even astonishing that during Baba's entire stay at Banaras, these two devoted families willingly carried out all of Baba's instructions. They were blessed souls indeed. And like we all said, indeed they were blessed souls. So we now continue to the next section, power blended with helplessness. The next day, Vishnu brought the news that a package booked from Belgaum was missing. Because of this, the clerk at the railway station was not willing to deliver the rest of the packages which had arrived. This caused great inconvenience, and after their bath, the companions had to put on their dirty clothes. Luckily, a day later, the undelivered luggage, including the missing package, was handed over to Vishnu, and all felt relieved. Baba sent Adi and Irach to Dr. Nath to give him 700 extra rupees. With this amount, he was asked to purchase two good milch cows and two female donkeys for the Baba party. Right. Even the companions did not know. Any additional amount required for the purchase of these animals was to be offered by Dr. Nath as Bhiksha, which literally means anything donated in response to an appeal to one's generosity. On that day, Baba discreetly sanctioned a small sum for each companion to buy shoes, gloves, and other necessary things to protect themselves from the cold. No one was to bring back the unspent money. It could be given to beggars, but they were not allowed to use it for tea or snacks. Few days were set aside to visit the famous ghats, the broad and long steps leading to the Ganges. The sight of burning corpses and of the city's sewage rushing into the river repelled the holy feelings of some of the companions. It is noticed that in the holy and spiritual places in India, good and bad go hand in hand. Maybe it's a test, or call it a spiritual jest, but the fact cannot be denied. One day out of fun, Baba instructed Ghani to greet him each morning on his arrival in the companion's room, like the Pathans in the Pushtu language. The peculiar intonation of the words of greeting ended in hai, mai, and thai, made everyone smile and perhaps forget all inconveniences. Ghani was also asked by Baba to repeat in a sing-song way a few rhythmic lines in Urdu as a way of wishing him good night. The free rendering of these lines is as follows. How differently have passed the days of the old life. Somehow today has passed too. Tomorrow be damned. We are not in the least bothered by what happens next. One day, the owner of Nati Imli visited the estate and was talking with the watchman. He wanted to know if the visitors were in any way inconvenienced. He wanted to be of some help, but his visit displeased Baba, and he sent a message to the landlord to leave the place immediately, and the landlord unhesitatingly did so. Strange. That brings to mind an incident which occurred when Baba was touring India contacting the mosques. One night, he was staying in a government rest house at Miraj, MS, Miraj Station, I don't know. It was summer and very sultry. However, according to his habit, Baba asked the one on night watch to close all the doors and windows of the room. He did not even permit the fan to be turned on. Baba's suite was on the second floor. At midnight, he complained that the sound of the ceiling fan from the ground floor was disturbing his sleep. Would it be stopped? He gestured. So Erich went down the stairs and softly knocked on the door. The person seemed annoyed, but reluctantly opened the door. Irach gently pleaded that he and his elder brother, who were not keeping well, were lodging in the room just above the one he was in. He explained that the sound of the revolving fan kept his brother away. At the end, Erich added, "It will be a favor if you will kindly turn off the fan." He also assured the man that if he wished, his cot and bedding would be gladly moved by Erich and those accompanying him to the open veranda. Strangely enough, the person consented to this. In the morning, this man asked if he could visit their room to express his good wishes. When this was conveyed to Baba, he gave his permission. As the man entered the room, he at once recognized that he was in the august presence of Meher Baba. With deep reverence, he bowed down to Baba. He considered himself fortunate to have Baba's darshan. It then turned out that the visitor was none other than the executive engineer, the one in charge of all the rest houses in the district. Irach wondered why the chief engineer had agreed so readily to his midnight suggestions. Maybe it was an excuse for Baba to bring his soul in, in his contact, Big H, and indirectly offer him a chance to be of some help in his, Big H again, spiritual work. In Baba's new life, also, we come across some events where we find that even in the face of helplessness, the power of his presence was obviously expressed. Very interesting. But imagine having to do that, this Erech, to go and ask somebody to switch off the fan because it's bothering him and his brother in the room below. I mean, what the Mandali did was just amazing. And obviously, it turns out that Baba had his own little agenda in trying to meet this engineer, or rather, it was act of compassion to offer this darshan to that particular person. Okay, let me continue. Baba's first Bhiksha. The second period of training comprising of Bhiksha was to begin at Benares. On November 20, while sitting on the veranda, which had an aura of stark austerity, Baba explained the subject of Bhiksha to his companions. The main tenor of the New Life song was helplessness, and to live by begging was a part of it. They were instructed to go barefoot, wearing white kafnis and green turbans, with a begging bowl and a cotton satchel bag, having separate compartments for food, grains, and flour. They were to address the householder politely. Mother, brother, with love, please give Bhiksha. Whatever food was offered had to be accepted, but no money was to be taken. If Bhiksha were denied, the companions had to pass on to the next door without getting in the least perturbed. Baba often colored his instructions, which presaged tests and trials, with his sense of humor. Today, with a twinkle in his eyes, he concluded, "Do not beg at the sweetmeat shops or at the door of a eunuch. Whatever was received was to be placed before Baba. He also set up a schedule for the begging, who was to go where and when, etc. Nilu, a Brahmin, was to beg in the Muslim colony, and Ghani, a Mohammedan, was to go begging in a Brahmin locality. On this day, before explaining the above details, Baba, on his arrival, dictated an Urdu couplet to Ghani, which meant, "Today, our helplessness has bestowed upon us a rare fortune for which we had been longing for years." Profound indication. As the saying goes, example is better than precept. Baba himself wished to inaugurate the phase of Bhiksha on November 24 at Dr. Nath's residence. I pause here. This was what we were referring to. This is where he started the Bhiksha, and this is the incident Sanjay ji was referring to, with the location being the gate at Dr. Nath's residence. I continue. At this time, no one other than Dr. Nath's family was to be present in the house. Before leaving for Bhiksha, Baba called all the companions and touched their feet, every time lifting his hand to his forehead. Was it a prerequisite for the avatar before going to bed? He asked Ghani to read a special prayer, a part of which is given below. Today, the 24th November, is a very significant day for me in the new life. I ask the most merciful God to forgive me and my companions for any shortcomings and any conscious and unconscious mistakes done singly or wholly, collectively, or towards each other, or personally or impersonally, relating to the conditions or otherwise, as and also for any lusty, that is lustful, angry, greedy, or old life thoughts or desires. I ask God to forgive us all, not merely by way of ceremony, but as a wholehearted pardon. There are two footnotes. I missed the second one. The second one was against the date. Let's read that. And then there's a third one about the message. So, second one about the date. Coincidentally, this happened to be the last Thursday in November, which is celebrated as Thanksgiving Day in the USA. Thanksgiving is also the day when you celebrate giving back to nature, family, and more. I mean, the Americans on the call, Ravi can tell me more, but basically, it's an Indian tradition. Indian as in American Indian tradition of Thanksgiving to each other, to nature, and so on. And given that November 24th, Baba is starting the Bhiksha phase, he's just pointing out that there was a coincidence there. The third message is coming from the New Life Circulars book. It's called Circular New Life number 2, issued on 23rd January 1950. Okay, so this message was given much later. It was published much later. It was published on 23rd January 1950. Okay, let's continue. About this incident, one of the companions wrote, "While this prayer was being read, the atmosphere one could feel had undergone a change. Baba himself became very serene, and the glow on his face was that of one on the judgment seat, overflowing with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. He seemed to be the judge, the crime, and culprit rolled into one. All through, he listened to the prayer in rapt attention, and then, making a gesture of forgiveness, brought the invocation to an end. As planned, Baba walked barefoot to Dr. Nath's house, about a kilometer from Nati Imli. He carried a brass pot in his right hand and a knocker satchel hung on his shoulder. Irach accompanied Baba. Dr. Nath and his families had the unique fortune of offering the first Bhiksha to Baba. When this was over, he requested Baba to allow Dr. Khare, his colleague who was helping him with all the arrangements, and his family members the privilege of offering Bhiksha. Dr. Khare was staying a few kilometers away in the university area. So, for the sake of convenience, Baba was invited to Dr. Nath's place for a second time on November 25th. It was on this day that Dr. Nath, not having told anyone of his intention, took the snapshot in which we find Adi accompanying Baba. Perhaps this was the first picture taken since Baba entered the new life. It was from this photo that Dr. Nath ascertained that the head of the party was no other than Meher Baba. While the Khare family was offering Bhiksha, a piece of it fell on the ground. Baba very naturally bent down, picked it up, and put it in his begging bowl. Baba had become a perfect beggar, or maybe he could not part with anything which was offered with such love. Fortunate were these two families who had the honor of being the hosts of the divine beggar, Baba, the Ancient One.
Sorry, where
There's a
is Dr.
footnote.
Nath's family? Where's Dr. Nath's house? And then
This is in Banaras.
Banaras. Okay,
Banaras, yes.
thanks.
With a little bit of luck, maybe I can get some photographs of that. Mamaji, do you have it on your
Yeah,
phone?
by the time you do it, I mean, it was just a serendipity that I landed in this house on November 25th.
I
The day
remember
Baba
you
had.
posted, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that Baba had
Yes,
visited.
yes, yes,
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I couldn't meet the family; they were away. But
Okay.
the watchman allowed me to roam around the house and see the place, and there are pictures of Baba there. Yeah, yeah, Baba.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think I found the pics, but nothing from the house. I found the pics of Banaras, but I don't think I found something at the house. Okay, Mamaji, if you find something, please feel free to share now
Yeah,
or
yeah,
later.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
sure, sure.
Okay, let's continue. Some events at Banaras. The breakfast time at Banaras was 5 o'clock in the morning. It was winter and quite cold. All the companions had to get up for breakfast, which was usually just a cup of tea and a chapati. Otherwise, some would have preferred to continue sleeping under their coarse warm blankets. There seemed to be no reason to rise so early. Baba had given no other instructions about bath, meditation, or any other work. Could not the breakfast time be changed? But no one could defy Baba's order. That would have been against the conditions of the new life. Ghani, as Baba's childhood chum, enjoyed a special latitude in Baba's company for making jokes. With an oblique reference to the early morning breakfast time, he casually remarked that the new life meant doing routine things at odd times. And some companions had a hearty laugh over this. The next day, Baba asked if Ghani were joking or serious about his remark. Baba felt relieved when Ghani and the companions assured him that it was just a joke and nothing more. Baba, however, asked the companions to pinch his ear, for he had doubted Ghani's intention. The new life phase veiled Baba's divinity under the guise of a few common human weaknesses. After some months, April 1950, a great religious fair Mela, which is known as the Kumbh Mela, was to be held at Haridwar. Baba asked Vishnu to find out the main dates for the Mela. On another occasion, he asked Baidul and Babadas to collect information about the musts and saints who were expected to visit Haridwar. Hearing this, someone asked whether Baba's activity of contacting musts had not ended with the termination of the old life. On this, Baba explained, the must activity of the old life had exclusive importance for me, but hereafter this work will have importance for all. Henceforth, the work with the musts, sants, and sadhus will be absolutely different from what it had been in the past. I might make you serve them, or I shall myself serve them in your presence, which was never the case before. I might even humiliate myself in your presence or in the presence of others in a manner that would be shocking to you all. So I need musts, sadhus, and sons for a different kind of work altogether. Let's see the footnote. Ghani's unpublished Diary of the New Life, and the period is October, November 1949 from page 89. So was this ever published, this book called Ghani's Unpublished Diary? Diary of the New Life, sorry. I wonder. Let's continue. Such statements from Baba did not clarify the nature of his work with the Mas. And to ask Baba to give any more explanation, particularly in and of the new life, was to make the subject more enigmatic. So no one tried to ask any more questions. According to the original plan, Baba was to spend 3 weeks at Banaras. But after some days, he expressed a wish to camp for 10 days at Sarnath, place closely connected with the life of Lord Buddha. It is about 9 kilometers to the north of Banaras. The Baba party was to start to Sarnath on foot. The luggage was to be carried in 2 bullock carts. In an informal discussion, it came out that the 2 carts would not be sufficient to carry the luggage of the companions. Adi suggested that he get a camel cart. Baidul, when in the prime of his youth, had stayed in Iran and knew how to look after a camel. Dr. Donkin, before joining in India, had gained some knowledge about handling a camel during his visit to the Sahara Desert in Africa. This was enough for Baba to find favor with the idea of purchasing a camel cart. Baba sent one of the companions to Dr. Nath to inquire if he could purchase the required camel cart. The noble doctor was in a mood to carry out any instruction from Baba. He readily agreed to get the desired vehicle for the Baba party, but was unwilling to accept any money for it. Had he not been so willing, Kakabaria, the treasurer of the party, would have been required to subtract this amount from the sum earmarked for the fodder of the animals, and that would not have been easy. Some days passed, and Baba sent 2 of his companions to get information about the purchase of the animals and the camel cart. In addition, Dr. Nath was asked to find and rent 2 bungalows at Sarnath for the Baba party, as Baba intended to stay there for 10 days. With the help of his brother, an influential person, Dr. Nath succeeded in getting the required accommodation within a few days. In the new life, there were occasions when Baba's instructions appeared entirely impractical and practically impossible, but they invariably worked out very well. The companions were not allowed to speak among themselves either about political or spiritual subjects. They were neither to read the dailies or the weeklies, nor were they permitted to talk about anything related to the old life. For some, it was not easy to transcend their old habits and interests. They felt bored. Knowing this, in one of the sittings, Baba stated, though the sufferings of this stage are dry and uninteresting, the suffering of the new life to commence in real earnest after 1st of January 1950, though 100% more severe, will be wet and enjoyable. The new life will be wet through and through. There's a footnote. So it's not going to be dry and uninteresting, but it's going to be wet through and through, says Baba. Again, it's from the circular published on January 23rd, 1950. I continue. Yeah.
Sent a picture to your WhatsApp.
To my WhatsApp, yes. I think I see something. Yes, that's the house.
The gate and the house entrance.
Yes. Let me bring it up. Amma has also sent me something. What happened to the photograph? Sorry, just give me a minute.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is the perspective is a little, the angle is a bit odd, but what you're seeing is the gate of the household, and the house is towards the center. And if you remember, there was talk of a little garden and stuff in the description of the house. So all that is visible. Let me just show you a little. So if you see towards the left top, you see in Hindi the words Nath. That's the board of the clinic. And I think that's the sun. And there's timings and so on. And there is also a stone board on the left. And this is the gate where there is the famous photograph of Baba that was alluded to in the previous paragraph with Adi and Baba seeking Bhiksha. And that's the main building.
I
And
I have sent you a few also. Yeah. Just
okay,
now on
great.
Telegram. Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, I think that's that. We will also pick up what
I have
Sanjay
also
ji has.
posted that Leela thing, I could
Oh, you
get
found it.
that.
Wonderful.
I found it. Yeah. Actually, glow comes in a very glossy paper, so it becomes very difficult to scan on
To
camera.
scan, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I've noticed
Some
that.
light or the
Yes,
other will blur the thing.
yes. Actually, some light will flood. Oh, yeah, you found the Adi photograph as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually that's also there in the house, right?
Yeah. Inside
Uh,
that.
they they have
Yeah,
it in the house. No, they
yeah,
they have it printed and on the wall.
yeah. So I send you, I think, three or four more. Yeah. And have a look and then we can read.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the photograph of Baba in that
Yeah.
gate. So you can
Yes,
recognize the commonality.
yes, yes.
There's Adi, and in all carrying begging bowls as they enter the gates to Dr. Nath's residence. And this is another angle of the house that this is from Sanjay ji's camera.
Yeah,
And this is from inside the house. There
yeah.
is, I think, the photograph of Baba on
The
behind him.
same photograph. Same
The same
photograph.
photograph. Yes.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, that's the old one. And I believe I was sent another one, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you so much. I think it was good to get a feel of the place and get to understand what it would have felt and been like, right? Let's continue. So we were at the footnote 6, which is just concluded, and Baba was talking about how it will be wet and enjoyable. Let's continue. It seems he wanted them to live happily from moment to moment, and the secret of doing this lay in their willingness to do anything or nothing when it was at Baba's bidding. Once the topic of journeying on foot from Sarnath to Haridwar was discussed. The provisions had been made for a period ending in December. It was brought to Baba's attention that taking into account the absolute minimum requirements of the party and the accompanying animals, the money in hand was insufficient. Various ways of meeting the deficit were thought of. At the end, Baba suggested that some belongings of the companions, especially trunks and clothing, be given to Dr. Nath and to Dr. Khare. They were free to retain or sell these things, and in return, they were to give the extra money the party needed. In short, in return for their loving offer to provide a camel and a camel cart to the Baba party, and their willingness to contribute the amount needed to meet the deficit, these two doctors were to receive the used clothes and trunks of the companions. From November 25th, the hosts knew for certain that the head of the party was the eminent spiritual personality Meher Baba, who was regarded by many as the perfect master. He did not divulge the recognition of this to Baba's companions, but he felt himself most fortunate to be of some service to Meher Baba. After hearing Baba's message, Dr. Nath, with perfect courtesy, said, "We will very happily give the sum of money you need. Is it necessary that in return we must accept the clothes? We can gladly get the clothes washed and return them to you too." At this, Erach pointed out that the head of the party did not want that. In a graceful way, the doctor continued, "In that case, I hope the clothing you mentioned includes the clothes of the head also." Erach could not give any direct answer. He returned to Nati Imli and told Baba of Dr. Nath's reply. Baba appreciated Dr. Nath's demeanor and consented to add one of his scarves to the bundle of clothes. In due course, the clothes and trunks were handed over to the host. At the close of this gesture of giving away the clothing, Baba, with a charming chuckle, conveyed to the companions, "While leaving Mehrabad on October 16th, we were comparatively speaking lightweight. At Banaras, with the disposal of the trunks and old life clothing, we have become featherweight. And after January 1st, 1950, who knows? I don't promise. We might become airweight." So again, there is a same reference, the New Life Circular, 23rd 1950, 23rd January 1950. Prayer in the cellar at Sarnath. On December 1, the Baba party shifted to Sarnath. The women and Baba were lodged in one bungalow and the men companions in another. One morning, Baba asked Mani to write the names of the known avatars on a piece of paper. She wrote Zoroaster, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, and Meher Baba. Baba kept this paper in one of his coat pockets and later led the women companions to one of the underground passages around Sarnath. It turned out to be the place where he later sat in Langoti, loincloth, with his companions. This noteworthy event happened during their visit to a subterranean cellar associated with the life of Buddha, the Enlightened One. It is believed that Gautama, after attaining Bodhi, enlightenment, preached his first sermon to his 5 disciples at this place. One morning, after reaching this particular spot, Baba asked his men to wear only a langoti. They were asked to sit and repeat mentally for 15 minutes the following prayer, a copy of which was given to each companion. It read thus: "God, give me the strength to follow the conditions 100%. God, help me to speak the truth and not to tell a lie under any circumstances. God, help me to control anger and to keep away from lustful, and greedy desires. God, help me to be just, fair, honest, and kind towards my companions and towards those who come into contact with me. This is also from the same publication reference. When the silent repetition of the prayer was over, Baba asked the men to don their clothes and to get in a line. Baba looked very radiant and stood at one end of the passage. He greeted everyone with a warm handshake. Then he asked each companion to come and hand him the prayer note. With a beaming smile, he asked Ghani to then repeat loudly 7 times in Hindi, Ho gaya, meaning accomplished or completed. And in a very delightful mood, Baba himself participated in each of Ghani's repetitions by raising his right hand. Was the reading of this prayer a revival of Lord Buddha's teaching, particularly the first sermon, in a different way? Baba instructed those who were present to mark the loin cloth they were wearing. It was not to be worn again unless Baba specially told them to. God's gift to the gardener. While returning, Baba took his companions to the bungalow where he was staying, specifically to point out the old gardener working there. Baba had once remarked that the game of love is not for the weakling. This gardener outwardly looked like a skeleton but possessed a robust heart bubbling with unadulterated love for God. He was a real hero. He would invariably get up before 4 o'clock in the morning, sit on his low, rickety bed that was open to the skies, and would melodiously repeat Rama, Rama, Sita, Rama for hours, irrespective of the changing seasons. Baba conveyed to the companions, this old man is thoroughly content with what little he has. He is one pointed in his devotion. Though he does not wear the ochre robes, he is a real sadhu. Once, according to Baba's instructions, Goher approached the gardener and asked him if he wanted anything. His prompt reply was, God be praised, I do not want anything. Thakurji, the Lord, provides me with anything I need. Hearing this, Baba felt pleased and sent Goher again to inquire if he really needed anything. When persistently pressed, he replied, box of matches. What a demand. On another occasion, Baba called the gardener to him and presented him with a good blanket, which he delightfully and most reverentially accepted without any hesitation, saying, I am blessed. This is Bhagwan's, God's gift. Did he recognize Baba as Bhagwan? That is unclear. But surely the God man had spotted his lover, and the divine gardener seemed pleased with the blossoming of this flower in his garden of love. There was a footnote on Thakurji. Devotees of Lord Krishna address him as Thakurji. The premises of the bungalow where the companions stayed at Sarnath presented a strange sight. During the stay at Belgaum, Baba had sent specific instructions to Padri staying at Mehrabad to deliver a coach, later known as the New Life Caravan, along with the bullocks to the Baba party at Banaras. Dr. Nath, in fulfillment of Baba's instructions, had purchased and handed over to the companions a camel cart with a camel, 2 milch cows, one had a newly born calf, and 2 female donkeys. In addition to these animals, there was one white horse. According to the conditions of the new life, money was not to be accepted from anyone. If someone offered any animal, it was to be politely rejected. But while refusing, the companions were permitted to say, the only animal we can accept is a white horse. In response to this, Dr. Khare had presented the Baba party with a spotless white horse as Bhiksha. All these animals were tethered to pegs in the compound. Baba bows to Buddha. In one of the informal sittings, a point was raised whether any new person could join Baba in his new life and stay with him. One of the companions remarked that such an admission would mar the charm of the new life. Baba conveyed, the importance of the new life is not from us, but from those who keep it alive. If we were to fail in the conditions, we would disgrace the new life. And if an outsider were to obey the conditions 100%, he would uphold the honor of the new life. Perhaps it was in this sense that Baba once stated, the new life will live by itself eternally. At the end of the above meeting, it was agreed that Baba could permit anyone to join him as one of the companions. Baba, before October 16, had indirectly promised Kaikobad Dastur that he would accept him as one of the Eswalas. Later, in the light of this discussion, Baba sent the necessary instructions to Kaikobad, who was asked to join the Baba party directly at Dehradun. Kaikobad was the only one who was not originally a Eswala to join Baba in his new life. As for the women, Naja, Pendu's sister, was the only one to join the women companions also at Dehradun. There was a footnote, but I believe it must be the 10th reference. Yeah, same thing, same book reference. In another meeting, when the topic of the journey on foot from Sarnath to Haridwar was discussed, it was suggested that the extra luggage should be sent in advance by railway to Haridwar. This seemed practical and convenient too. The question of railway freight was brought up. This required extra money as no provision had been made for such an expenditure. So Baba asked most of his companions to surrender their wristwatches to raise the money. Tonkin, Pendu, and Adi, who had to attend to duties which brought them into contact with the outside world, were allowed to retain their watches. One day at Sarnath, which is studded with shrines and temples, Baba visited a place that enshrines the figure of Buddha. The walls were beautifully painted, representing different incidents from the life of Siddhartha Gautama. In the center was a splendid statue of Lord Buddha. Baba asked those accompanying him to pay their respects to that graceful piece of sculpture, and he himself bowed most reverentially to set an example as to how one should honor the God man, who, in fact, is omnipresent. To some, an idol, a portrait, or a painting of the God man is the silent symbol of his omnipresence. In its right perspective, I personally think it's like a telescope through which the wonders of the formless one are revealed. It is a window to the ever inviting eternal. Beautiful. So,
Beautiful last two sentences when we discuss
yes,
why should we play to the picture. Yeah, yeah, Baba. Uh, what I think, if you want me, I can sing that song, and you
sure,
can probably rotate the English version on the screen
sure.
so people can relate and understand. That would be a good idea. I mean,
Sorry, Karthik, could you read
Yeah,
the last paragraph once more, please? Thank you.
the whole paragraph, sure.
Yeah.
From here, right?
Yes.
One day at Sarnath, which is studded with shrines and temples, Baba visited a place that enshrines the figure of Buddha. The walls were beautifully painted, representing different incidents from the life of Siddhartha Gautama. In the center was a splendid statue of Lord Buddha. Baba asked those accompanying him to pay their respects to that graceful piece of sculpture, and he himself bowed most reverentially to set an example as to how one should honor the God man, who, in fact, is omnipresent. To some, an idol, a portrait, or a painting of the God man is the silent symbol of his omnipresence. In its right perspective, I personally think it is like a telescope through which the wonders of the formless one are revealed. It is a window to the ever inviting eternal. Okay,
Yeah, Baba.
let's Jai Baba. So let me go to the where is the text? Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Karthik, I have sent a picture.
Oh, okay. I will bring that up in a minute. But you can start, Sanjay ji.
सुनो मेरे बाबा की खामोश वाणी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी। है जीना तुम्हें कर नई जिंदगानी, करो तर्क दिल से ये दुनिया है फानी। खुदा के भरोसे पे हम जा रहे हैं, कसम से इरादों को गरमा रहे हैं। गजल ना मुरादी की हम गा रहे हैं, बला और मुसीबत को बुलवा रहे हैं। उम्मीदों का रो, वादों का शिकवा, न इज्जत से मतलब ना जिल्लत की परवाह। गीबत किसी की ना खतरा किसी का, यही रंग है अपनी अब जिंदगी का। ख्यालों में उलझन बाकी न बंधन, है न खवत न गुस्सा न कुछ काम कंचन। है मजहब से रिश्ता न कुछ फिक्र तन मन, सवारे को कश्ती खो बिरह मन। अपने लिए तो छोटा बड़ा है, पूरी दौर मुर्शिदना मौला रहा है। अखवत कवा हम जो रिश्ता जुड़ा है, हमें दर्द गम मजा रहा है। न दुनिया न उकबा, न दोज़ख न जन्नत, न सिद्धि न शक्ति न कश्फ कया करामत। ये सब नक्शे बातिल हुए दिल से रुख सत, जो है वो है हाल की कद्रों की मत। ये अल्फाज बाबा के सुन दिल से प्यारे, शुमार अब मेरा है बराबर तुम्हारे। मगर हुक्म अच्छे बुरे दूं के न्यारे, बजा लाओ फौरन खुदा के सहारे। अगर आसमान मुसीबत भी छूटे, सदाकत का हाथों से दामन न छूटे। चमन यास हीर माने हर चंद लूटे, तवक्कुल से इनमें लगे बेल बूटे। चले दिल पे छुरियां
मगर लब हो खंडा, ये एक रस्म है जिसको करता हूँ पूरियां। तेरी तंग दस्ती पे दौलत है पिन्हा, गदाई पे तेरे करे रक्स शाह। है बेशक खुदा और बरहम नबी, बाहर दौर अवतार हर दम वली। हमें तो फकत बेबसी बेकसी है, कहूँ क्या तुम्हें क्या नई जिंदगी है। नई जिंदगी का अंजाम हो, किसी को किसी से ना कुछ काम होगा। न खाना न सोना न आराम होगा, कसम होगी हम होंगे क्या आराम होगा। मेरे बाबा की खामोश वाणी, इसी में है सब आशिकी कहानी। है जीना तुम्हें कर नई जिंदगी, करो तर्क दिल से दुनिया है। अवतार मेहर बाबा
Meher Baba ki jai. Well sung, Sanjay.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so
Very,
Baba,
much.
very
Jai Baba, thank you. Thank you. I got opportunity to I sang for the first time this song. Jai Baba, so I've heard like Jai
Oh,
Baba.
really? Lovely.
I've never, I mean,
Uh,
in a group I have sung, but as a solo singer, I've never. Yeah, Jai Baba. Like that. Jai Baba.
You have become
beautiful.
Shloka
yes.
Jaglo.
So there's more Banaras snaps shared by
Yeah.
Kama. Is that the Nath family? The first one, Kama? Kama? Can you unmute
Looks like
and
they're two brothers. Looks like two brothers. Yeah.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
sent
that's
one
that.
picture from Sarnath.
Oh, okay, I will bring that up. So this is the board that I was referring to the left of the gate. Sitaram Bhavan, Nalini Nath, Rajneesh Nath, Pratima Nath, and Raj Lakshmi Nath. I think this is a stone. And here is a memorial stone. Avatar Meher Baba and the New Life. Uh, whoa, Dr. Nath's. What does it say here? On 24th and 25th, 1945, 49, by taking Bhiksha alms. Shared his, is it? Shared his or whatever. It's not clear. Better pictures, the gate from inside, and that's Dr. Nath, Dr. S. Nath. Mm, yeah, that's the busy location that we're referring to. This is Cool Dude Karma. Those of you who don't know.
Yeah, Jay Baba. Okay, so sorry, I was missing.
Yeah, so
Uh,
is this from the family? Are these from the family,
this
the
is
two
the
gentlemen?
correct, correct. This is not Nath family.
Kare
This is the
family. Okay,
correct,
we
correct
didn't meet the
family.
Kare family.
These,
Yeah.
these are the two brothers, actually,
Okay.
whose grandfather was Dr. Curry, and then so I met them, and he mentioned some very interesting stories. The bust in the blue bus, you see that Baba's bust, and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
in
That
Upasni Maharaj.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
So that
yes,
bust was designed by his father, actually.
yes. Made, sculpted by his father.
Right.
And there's also a story about the little damage that it had, right? Did he talk about that?
Yeah, that the thing about
Dent.
something that part of the plaster which was supposed to be like, yes, it's a technical
Yes,
thing, but
yes,
Baba noticed
yes,
that and he mentioned that. Yes,
yes,
correct.
yes, 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 yes. Very beautiful. And Mama G has sent me something. And where did you? Here it is.
This is Sarnath, I think, right? This is Sarnath.
Yeah, this is
Right.
Sarnath. Yes. Let me get these. Oh my God, I've got a photograph of myself looking huge in Sarnath. So let me bring that up in a minute. Okay, so any other thoughts? Beautiful reading, beautiful sharing. Thanks for that. And above all, the singing and the understanding of the New Life song was something that was very touching. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji, for suggesting the idea and then bringing it to life in this beautiful manner.
Jai Baba,
That-
this was one of my most enjoyable readings. Very, very nice. I was
Yes,
with with the party doing all those things, and that guy
literally.
was such a clever negotiator. I don't know what his name is. First, he told him, "Oh, I mean, he's not lying, but he can fight his case." He said, "I brought the car not to disobey you, but to give these women a lift." And the
Yes,
second
yes.
thing he said is, "Oh, we don't need the clothes, but if the head of the party clothes are in,
I think he's
he
very
did
good.
so
Yes,
well. He did so well. I was
yes,
really,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Indeed. This is cool dude Mamaji. Mamaji in
Oh
Sarnath.
my God.
Dashing.
Yeah. And this is Sarnath. And this is another photograph of, I think, Dr. Nath. Correct, Mamaji?
Yes, yes. Same person.
And this is me looking huge in Sarnath, my old self. Okay, lovely sharing, lovely photographs, lovely memories. And I will at this time stop the recording, but we guys can hang out for some more time. Thank you so much for, like Namita said, one of the most special and lovely sessions. Sar Meher
Yeah,
Baba
yeah.
ki jai.
Only